Grab your popcorn as we recap this movie about a crazed simp obsessing over a woman. It's a rainy night and Jennifer is running for her life. She goes inside a phone booth, but shortly after, a car is there, so she runs away. She goes in a bathroom and hides in one of the stalls. The man opens each stall one by one. When he gets to the final one, he scrapes the door with his knife. Somehow, Jennifer magically escapes the stall and leaves the building. She gets into the car, but it won't start, and the man is now walking towards her. Once the car starts, a white pickup truck is keeping Jennifer's car from moving by using a cable. She leaves the car to run away, but another car hits her instead. The man who hit her is very apologetic about what he's done, and luckily he's able to get an ambulance to rush her to the hospital. While being rolled away, she remembers how she got married. The identity of her husband isn't revealed though. While doctors work on her, she remembers the perpetrator coming at her with a knife. Then, a man named Russell Williams arrives at the hospital looking for his wife, Jennifer. Nurse Masters tells Russell that Jennifer has had a lot of internal bleeding in her head. Once she wakes up, she may not remember much of anything. While in the waiting room, Russell stares at the personalized lighter he received from Jennifer. The next morning, Russell is allowed to see Jennifer. She's in terrible condition with her leg propped up and casted. Even though Jennifer is still asleep, Russell lets her know that he's not going anywhere. Unbeknownst to him, a man was watching him through a door window. Detective Frank Page is called to Jennifer's scene of the crime. It was a rest stop bathroom. Detective Page starts to question Russell about the last time he saw her. Jennifer had apparently went out to grab groceries for dinner that night. Frank wonders if they had any marital problems, but Russell says they haven't had any, especially since they just got married. Apparently, Jennifer's car is currently missing. When Frank gets home, he wraps the present he got, but then he begins to cry. He stashes the present in a closet, and it turns out it's for his missing daughter, Hannah Page. A doctor tells Russell that Jennifer's hippocampus has been severely injured, so she won't have any recollection of Russell. When Russell tries to say hi to his wife, Jennifer flinches since Russell is a stranger to her. Russell decides to introduce himself to his wife as if it's the first time they are meeting. She forces a slight smile. Frank decides to question Ray, the man that accidentally hit Jennifer. He's very apologetic about what happened and admits that he was speeding. Ray admits that he did see a white pickup truck at the scene of the crime, but it was gone once the ambulance arrived. Then, Frank goes to his superior, Captain Fitzpatrick. Frank tries to tell him that Jennifer had defensive wounds, and there's more to the story. However, the captain dismisses these claims, and he thinks Frank is just trying to make up for his past mistakes. Later, a man named Jim Conn is questioned by Frank. Back at the hospital, Russell tries to help Jennifer remember some details about how they met. He shows her some photographs of how they first met and talked about their first date at a banana. Jennifer then wonders about her parents. Russell tells her the bad news that her parents passed away from a fire a few years ago. At night, Jim Conn tries to visit Jennifer, but the attending nurse says she's only allowed to see family members at the moment. Russell sees this man from the other room. In the following days, Russell is really involved in Jennifer's physical and mental recovery. She eventually gets better enough to go home with Russell. When she's in the car, she gets a quick flashback memory of that fateful night. Eventually, they arrive at their mansion on the mountains. Secluded, as their closest neighbor is about 1 mile away. Jennifer sees their wedding photo. Then, when she sees the fireplace, she gets a quick flashback of the mysterious man with a knife. Jennifer apologizes for not remembering anything. When Jennifer asks to see their bedroom, Russell carries her up the stairs. Then, Jennifer sees her face in the mirror for the first time, and she's shocked to see that she looks like London Tipton from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Later, Detective Frank calls Russell. Russell hesitantly agrees to bring his wife to the station tomorrow morning. During dinner, Russell lies when Jennifer wonders what's going on tomorrow. Russell says he has to go to work tomorrow. Then, Jennifer wonders if she has to go back to work soon too. Russell tells Jennifer that she quit her job because they wanted to start a family together. Jennifer wonders about her friends, and Russell says they are currently in Hawaii. Then he tells her that the police have yet to find her phone. In the middle of the night, Jim Conn is threatened by Russell. Russell tells him to stay away from his wife. He hits Jim over and over until the car alarm starts alerting the neighbors. Russell decides to choke Jim to death before the neighbors can see him. When Russell gets home, Jennifer wakes up from the noises. She's shocked to find Russell digging something in the backyard. The next morning, Jennifer pretends to act normal while looking at the large mound of dirt in the backyard. At the police station, Frank realizes that Russell and Jennifer are not going to show up as Russell had promised. He decides to search for a Russell Williams, only to find that there are too many in the database. Later, Frank talks to the nurse about Jennifer. She gives Frank the home address Russell gave her, and she tells Frank that every time she's called them, it goes straight to voicemail. Meanwhile, Jennifer looks through old childhood photos. She starts to remember her wedding day again, and the intimate moments she had with Russell. Then, she notices in one photo that Russell's reflection doesn't quite match him. She grabs the wedding photo downstairs, and notices it looks a bit off as well. She tries logging into Russell's laptop, but he surprises her. He gifts her a brand new phone. But of course there's no signal in the mountains. When Frank goes to the house that was in the hospital records, he's surprised to find out that Russell and Jennifer do not live there. Frank calls Charlie to tell him what's going on. Turns out that no one even called Russell to let him know his wife was at the hospital. They didn't even run prints on Jennifer either. Charlie tracked Russell's cell phone number, but that turned out to be a burner phone. At night, Russell tells his wife that he's glad she's home. The two are about to do it, but when Russell grabs Jennifer's thighs, she starts to get a flashback of that night. She jumps away and apologizes, but Russell can't take it no more and grabs her arm. He says he sat at the waiting room for too long to be blueballed. Eventually, Russell lets her go and apologizes. Jennifer turns a cold shoulder to him though, and the pissed off Russell leaves the room to go to his office. There, he watches Jennifer sleep through his laptop. Meanwhile, Frank is looking at the scratches that Jennifer sustained. He looks through evidence again about a white pickup truck without lights on. He calls Nurse Masters and asks if she can pull up security footage at the hospital of a white pickup truck. Frank also wonders how Russell proved he was Jennifer's husband. Apparently, Russell showed the doctors some family photos and identified Jennifer's back tattoo. Once Frank receives the surveillance footage, he sees Russell come out of a white pickup truck. The next morning, Russell gives Jennifer flowers to apologize for last night. Jennifer accepts his apology. Later, Frank goes to Xander, a tattoo artist who worked on Jennifer's tattoo. It turns out that Jennifer's maiden name is Allen. Frank uses this information to find Jennifer's parents' house. When he arrives, there's a huge stack of mail that hasn't been picked up for weeks. Frank enters the house and finds the bodies of Jennifer's parents. A flashback of Jennifer is shown running into a closet to hide. She wakes up from this bad dream. While Russell takes a shower, Jennifer goes through his coat. She isn't able to find his driver's license, which seems fishy to her. When her husband leaves, she's surprised to find out that Russell has locked her in. Once Russell is gone, Jennifer looks through his wallet again and finds her own driver's license, which states her last name is Allen, not Williams. She grabs a bobby pin and successfully picks the lock. Meanwhile, Frank goes to Jennifer and Russell's workplace to ask about the couple. He finds out that Russell isn't who he says he is. His real name is Ryan, and he was fired for breaking his boss's nose. At the same time, Jennifer finds photos of the real Russell on Ryan's computer. Jennifer starts to remember everything that has happened. Ryan was the perpetrator all along. I mean, who didn't see that one coming? Jennifer tries to get access to the internet, but it looks like a rat chewed up the wires. Subsequently, Ryan finds out that he forgot his wallet, so he turns the car around. Jennifer even tries to get signal on her phone, but of course Ryan tampered with it. When Jennifer tries to run away, she stumbles on the mound of dirt that was covering the body, and just in time, Ryan smacks her on the head. He carries her back upstairs and lies, saying she took a hard fall. Jennifer is really confused once she starts regaining consciousness. Ryan forces her to take her medication. Stupidly, Jennifer asks what Ryan has done to her real husband, so Ryan decides to tie her up. One day when picking up Lie, Nurse Masters coincidentally bumps into Ryan. She becomes really worried and adamant about Jennifer's well-being. Ryan does his best to dodge her, then he speeds away. Meanwhile, Jennifer starts to struggle out of bed. Ryan used her broken foot to tie her up, so it's especially painful for Jennifer. Once she gets herself out, she limps down the stairs. She grabs duct tape to act as a cast for her foot. Then, she tries to find the keys to her car. She finds her phone, but only to be interrupted by Ryan coming home. She hides in the backseat of her car. Ryan opens the trunk of the car, and it's the real Russell who is dead. Once Ryan leaves, Jennifer escapes back into the house to pretend to be shackled. She uses a blanket to cover her foot. When Ryan tries to uncover the blanket, they are interrupted by Detective Frank ringing the door. Ryan happily invites him inside. Frank sees a sign saying the Williams, but it was just vinyl taped over the real sign. Jennifer limps into the kitchen and sees the detective from the inside. Then, Frank discovers the white pickup truck that has the cable. Jennifer signals Frank to go to the back, but it's too late when Ryan hits Frank from behind. Ryan confronts Jennifer and pushes her onto the couch. He squeezes her injured foot while threatening her. She screams in agony and promises to behave. Then he commits to his foot fetish. He carries her back into the bedroom and starts to show his true self. After Ryan leaves the room, Jennifer grabs her phone to see if she can get signal again. She discovers a video of her and the real Russell. She sobs knowing that her husband is probably dead. Ryan finally returns and ties Jennifer up to the bed. Jennifer begs for her life and Ryan tells her he had no other choice. He's been working with Jennifer for such a long time. Then Russell comes in and takes her away from him. He sets up a candle by the bed. Then he goes to caress Jennifer's thighs again. He admits to killing Russell and anyone who got in his way. Ryan wants to start a new life with her. When he goes to kiss her, Jennifer just bites him. Subsequently, Frank wakes up inside a freezer. He hears Ryan moving his car. Back upstairs, Jennifer pretends to be willing to cooperate. Once Ryan leaves, Jennifer grabs the lighter to burn through the rope. As Ryan re-enters the room, Jennifer smacks him with a vase. She locks him in the room, but Ryan gets up fairly quick. Jennifer trips on the stairs and limps to find a weapon. Unfortunately, Ryan breaks through the door, while Frank escapes the freezer as well. Jennifer limps through the woods as Ryan follows her. Jennifer tries to surprise him by smacking him, but Ryan gets the upper hand and pushes her down a hill. Ryan grabs the detective's gun and is about to shoot Jennifer, but Frank tackles him just in time. Jennifer is then able to grab the gun and shoot at Ryan multiple times. 3 months later, Frank is moving on and donating all the toys he had bought before. Jennifer visits him to say their farewells. Frank hands her a note that the real Russell's boss had given him. It basically says that the time Russell and Jennifer have spent together has been the happiest days he's ever experienced. Then, she drives away happy for some reason as Russell finishes reading the letter through a voiceover. Girl, your husband is dead and you just went through some traumatic shit. It's okay to be sad.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel.